unmuted, I would let it happen for a certain age, maybe. But there is millions of young men raised on their phones. What does that mean, Casey? What is the relevancy of that? What does that have to do with men choosing to be lonely? I don't understand.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey,
Here you go.
I agree with a couple parts of what you said. It's definitely. I think the saying to the last sentence was it's their fault to basically pull themselves out of this situation. So I don't really know like what the age break would be, but there's definitely millions of young men that were raised on their phones, and they just don't have enough time, dealing with women one on one and in pretty much any situation, whether it be school or work or whatever. A lot of them are just like really shy and don't really know what direction to go to figure it all out. But yeah, for some age men, yeah, it's like definitely undoing some of the patriarchy and stuff for us older guys. But for the younger guys, it's going to be tough for them to get a girl with zero time in front of girls talking to them. I mean, they're just going to be too anxious, and not all of them, but there's going to be tens of millions of them that are like that.
But that would also apply to the women too.
To a certain extent, it is happening to the women. I've done a little research on this issue. And
we can't hear you, Casey.
I'm saying it does happen to women too, but not to the extent of men, because women are by nature more social. They have the ability to.
That's not true.
Well, I mean, what do you mean? Explain.
No reason. There's don't use nature, because it's not. Women aren't more social than men by nature. Men are socialized to not be social. I will agree with that. But women are naturally more social than men. That doesn't make any sense. To me, it doesn't. I don't understand the logic behind that.
Okay.
Why would nature set it up in such a way for women to be social but men be antisocial? Like,
no, I hear you. I'm not saying men are antisocial. I'm just saying men are inexperienced, and whenever you dig into the details, a lot of men's inexperience is because they don't really pursue women at young ages anymore, or even in junior high and high school. And when I say none, I'm talking just like a percentage of men. Of course, there's guys like yourself.
We can barely hear you. You going out again, Casey.
Of course, there's guys like yourself, that probably grew up able to talk to women, but you're a bit older like me, and you weren't possibly not raised on your phone 24 hours a day. But I mean, some of my son's friends are just out of high school. I mean, a lot of them haven't had girlfriends, haven't had one girlfriend. A lot of them just can't figure it out, honestly.
So the thing that, like I said, it wouldn't be anything exclusive to men. People are, kids are more on their phones. My son is no different. He's not on his phone, but he's on an iPad, same thing, right? Device. My son is 8 years old, he's about to turn 9. My son can talk to anybody. My son can talk to girls. I see him at school. He interacts with girls. They like him. He likes them. You know what I'm saying? He ain't like trying to be boyfriend, girlfriend or whatever, but he's confident. You know what I mean? Like, he knows how to talk.
I mean, that's cool, but he's going to be.
But wait, Casey. The reason why isn't because the reason why he's good at it isn't. I'm saying that he spends just as much time on his devices as any other boy, but a big reason why is because at home we talk to him all the time, right, as much as we can, and B, I'm teaching my son to not be misogynistic, like even at a young age, right? Like he's had he's had stuff, he's had signs of it. Yeah. Already at 8 years old. And that's not even like something that I've taught him directly or his mom taught him or whatever. It was just, he observed it, somewhere else in a movie, on a show, and around his friends or whatever. And I had, we had to correct that. Like, no, you don't do that. That's not okay. Or he'll say stuff and we're like, no, that's not okay. Like, girls can do whatever, boys can do it, whatever, right? We have those little talks just along the way. So when he talks to girls just like him. Like people like him. No, I don't mean it like they like him, like they want to be his girlfriend.
I completely understand what you're saying, man. I mean, that's the way my son was, and you're doing the right thing by your son by teaching him those things early. I'm just saying there's a lot of families out there, broken families and two-parent families that have young boys that they just are not like your son. They're not like you. They're raised on their phone too much. And I mean, honestly, growing up, there was a lot
Why
of
not
guys.
use the phone to find a girl though? Like, cause you can meet
mean,
girls on the
it's
phone.
guys can, but if you don't have the ability, you don't have the ability to really pull it off. Nowadays, I would think, if we're honest, standards of women are going up a little bit, which is fine. I don't disagree with that. They should have high standards and pick the best man and do all that, but there's just a lot of young men out there that are having problems. I mean, I've done quite a bit of research on it, trying to just interested in it. Why is it happening?
The Casey, but the thing that doesn't make sense is whatever you would say about the boys, you would also have to imply about the girls. It's not like the girls are living a different life than the boys. The girls are on their phones too.
I hear you. And if you listen to a lot of social media, I mean, there are a lot of women that are struggling to get dates too. I know that in general, if she wants a date, she can get a date. It's obvious, and it's not like that for men. But there are a bunch of girls too that are struggling with just relationships. I mean, I don't remember the stat, but it was something like 40% of a young age demographic, they said on the news the other day, was having a problem with even having one friend. That there's a big group of young kids that don't even have one friend that they could say, yeah, this is my best friend who I enjoy hanging out with. And there was another stat, like, I don't know, I can't remember the other stat, but it was similar to like not having even one friend. There was something else related. And yeah, it was like an unbelievable statistic that there's that many young people in society that can't find one person that they call their best friend. It's just, I don't know. I mean, that part of it just is the reason I wanted to talk to you. But I'm totally on with everything else you're saying.
Yeah, I don't. So I think that, like I'm saying, so ultimately, I don't think that there is something unique about what's going on between boys and girls with what you're describing. I don't think it's unique to boys, right? I think like I said, I think that the thing that separates boys and girls is girls and boys are refusing to grow, and girls, even younger girls, are growing. It's not like girls are just like becoming like these different types of women when they're 27 years old. Like, it starts when they're teenagers. They're already like moving in that direction. They're online too. They're hearing podcast bros too. They're turned off by that stuff already at 12, 13, 14 years old. So if they talk to a 12, 13, 14-year-old boy and he's saying the same stupid shit that they hear on these podcasts that they don't like, they're going to reject him, right?
Oh, I totally agree with that. I mean, and I don't know the percentage. Like, I kind of see what you're saying now. Yeah, every young man that does take the route that you just described is going to sabotage themselves, and it's going to be basically over for them, unless, because they got to figure it out on their own, and it's just not going to work out for them if they take that red pill, rage or whatever, that ideology, and try to stand on it as a young man. I mean, it's just not going to work out for them.
And that's the ultimate problem. It has nothing, to me. I'm not going to blame technology for this shit. I'm not about to blame it because it's not a new phenomenon. Like, it's not something that just started happening in 2024, right?
Let's say that's true, but I think that it definitely, I mean, 100 years ago, probably 50 years ago, similar issues were coming up between the genders. But I think for some reason it seems to be not enhanced, but just, I guess, sped up, like the process maybe sped up or a little bit worse, basically. I think it's a little bit worse than it was, say, 50 years ago because of technology. Technology makes everybody see things in a little bit different perspective than what you and I saw things growing up.
Yeah. I think the thing that the social media has done and technology has done is just like what it's supposed to do, which was connect everybody. And it shares these ideas that it would take people longer to see. Like, it would take, like girls may have thought a certain way about boys when they were younger, but they didn't know for sure. Maybe they thought it was their small town, or it was just the boys that they knew, or whatever, whatever the case may be. But now when they get online, they go, "Oh no, it's pretty much all these dudes. Like they're all terrible. They're all this way. They're all that way." You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I
that's
mean, it definitely seems that way, and it's going to be hard for them to find someone because there's not a lot of good guys out there.
yeah,
Unfortunately.
exactly. That's what I think. I think that's where we have arrived. I think that's a good place to, I think we could we can end it on that note right there, because I agree. I think that is just not enough good boys or good men, right? For the women. I'm not saying that the thing about boys is they're still malleable. They're still teachable. So you still got time with them. But the problem is most parents, especially the men in their lives, they're not clocking that shit while it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not going, you know what I mean? Like it's not happening while
You
it's
think
happening.
that would break off that responsibility from the parents to say just the son or whatever? Because I mean, once they get to like 18,
at what age
they're
do
just
you
on their
become
own.
responsible for yourself?
No, like what age you said, like it's a responsibility for like parents like yourself, to talk to your kids and help them along on these tough subjects, to where they're going to succeed at them. At some point, you being a boy yourself, once we get to like 18, 19, then we're just going wild, doing whatever we want. I mean, once we get out of high school, it's not like we're wanting to hear our parents' input. Not that we don't take it, if we're good, if we're, wanting to do what's right by our parents, of course we'll listen to them. But I just think at some point, boys, when do you lose their ear, basically? Like, when can you talk to them about stuff? I would
I don't
say
think I'll be honest with you.
years old, and then they're just going to.
Casey, I don't think my son will ever stop listening to me.
Well, I'm not more about girls or romantic things or whatever, but yeah,
In general, I don't think my son will ever stop listening to me or my wife.
Yeah, well, that's
I
good.
don't see that ever happening because like of our relationship and how we treat him. Like he has no reason to not listen to us.
Yeah.
I mean, like we'll never give him a reason to not listen. He'll always like be like, yeah, I should, if I need help, I could always go to them. But I also we don't like, I'm not the type of person to go out of my way to offer my advice to my son. You know what I mean? Like I let my son be
That's
like,
what I
and then when I need direction,
Well, hey man, appreciate talking to you.
All
I
right,
agree
Casey.
with a lot of what you say. Some of it I don't, but I appreciate you being on here.
Yep. All right, brother. All right. What up, JC? JC, what's good with you?